Hey, what's up? It's Nino Cappuccino. We're recording from Cloud City. And let me tell you about Cloud City. This is my new YouTube channel. We're going to do reviews out the wazoo. Now, first, okay, I started out installing a brand new quadruple coil. Okay, these are very, very hard to, well, they're not hard to come by, but they're expensive and very sought after. I just installed a brand new coil and I had it assembled. I cleaned it out. I wanted to show you, but you know what? I realized that the time I needed for it to, completely soak in the coils, it was just not going to work out. So we will just pretend that it's all fresh and brand new, okay? Now, on top, there is a little bean-shaped hole where you can drop in some e-liquid. In the coils themselves say they can run with max VG liquid, and that is pretty amazing. I use 70/30 because that's all I could find at my store, and I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. I just don't have the time, so I don't really know where I could find a 100% VG liquid except online on a few websites. Now, what I had just done was added one droplet into the bean-shaped hole, okay, not the big hole, that's the air hole, and I am just now quickly making sure there's not too much errant liquid. You don't really have to do this, and you just get it clicked right in. Some people have this tank. They say that they have some issues with leaking out of the sides because it doesn't click in correctly. I don't know if it's defective or not, but well, to begin, this is the Smok TFV4. We're using the quadruple coils. Now these are the ones that people prefer. They have the lowest resistance, and they can go from 40 watts to 150 watts. Now I am going to take it at 60 watts just to give it a little bit right here, alright? The flavor is great. Let's bring it up a little, 67. And the clouds are outstanding. Alright. Now this is a tank that the small kit, the regular kit that I bought, it came with just one triple coil, one quadruple coil, and one RBA coil, which you do it yourself. I'm not a big do-it-yourselfer. You know, this quadruple coil here is pretty much like dripping. Okay, I have people say, wow, I don't need the drip again. This is fantastic. You pump up the watts, or if you have a temperature control, coil installed, you get that flavor. It's all about flavor, this tank. The TFV stands for total vapor flavor. I don't know, something flavor, something to that regard there. I'm using, of course, you know, my favorite, the Snow Wolf 200 1.5 limited edition, temperature control, but well, we're going to do a review on that another time. Right now, don't mind this. This is the 510 to 510 raised thread adapter. I do that just for purely aesthetic reasons because it looks cool. It's like a little, I feel like it's my king's staff, you know? My, like Jafar from Aladdin. It's such a complete, I mean, with a very powerful box mod. They usually have heft. This takes two high drain 18650 batteries. I'm using the LG HE2s, 30 amps, 3000 milliamps per hour, whatever. I don't know, but they work great. And I have two pairs of batteries, so I keep one on charge in case this comes out. And it's a beautiful thing. Now, these coils recommend max VG, okay, like I said before. They even say that you can use 100% VG. That is something, okay? Very few coils can handle that. You put something like 50-50 in here, it'll leak out and go crazy. Also, when you're filling it for the first time after you install the coil, they call them cores because if you want to see the size of them, I'm sure you can see the size here, but if you want to see the size on its own in actuality, okay, it's very gigantic. See that bad boy? That's the coil. They call them cores because they're huge. The quadruple coils have the highest resistance, the lowest ohms. It's 0.15 ohms. This is reading it at 1.6 ohms. It usually does read just a tiny bit off, but you know, that's okay. That's how a lot of devices are. Now that was only 65.5 watts, so the flavor is fantastic. It's made of stainless steel. All right, this is the full-sized 24 millimeter diameter. It doesn't sit flush on many people's devices. It sits flush on this Snow Wolf, but I use this thread. You could use this on yours if you prefer the 5 milliliter capacity tank. All the cores, the coils work on the mini. However, sometimes I believe, or I wonder why, the mini kit, say you get the full mini kit, they assume that you're using lower quality, lower wattage devices, and so they have all the lower resistance coils, and mine was the small kit, full size, that came with an RBA, triple, and the quadruple. Triple is my favorite because it blows really big clouds, just like this, except it doesn't run as hot. Flavor is just as good. It's they're a little bit cheaper as well. And you can use different liquids. You don't have to use max VG. Sometimes I like to use 60-40 or even 50-50 because some of my favorites are not max VG. When you fill it, I was beginning my review. It was all disassembled, and I might be repeating myself, but I installed the fresh coil, and I remembered I had to wait a while before it soaked in, and it was all ready to go. And so I just cut off the video, and I realized I had to start again. But because I don't have the software, I don't have my new computer. I'm getting a Windows 10 with all this cool bells and whistles. Right now I'm just using what I have available. Now, this is the best tank available, okay? I don't know if anyone could talk bad about this. Some people say, it's a little overpriced. It's only $10 to $20 more than your average tank, and you can get some really crappy tanks out there, not knowing. And the the website or the slogan is that it's the last tank you'll ever need, and it certainly is. Okay, I wish I had some editing software where I could go and show you some different coils, but I only at the moment have the quadruple coils, so we're gonna run it at 67 watts. Ready? See, I didn't do that right. Let's run it 7.5. Now it's so delicious. People say they don't need to drip no more. I've had people who make their own coils try out this triple coil, the quadruple coil, and say, this is just like dripping. I don't need to drip anymore. And by the way, if I haven't said, I'm Nino Cappuccino. This is Cloud City, my channel on YouTube. I appreciate anybody who wants to watch it. You can comment. Just starting off. So be gentle. Alright. This is probably not the best review. I had a lot more in mind, but I'm gonna just give you a rundown here. Most people would like the mini version, okay? The mini version, it fits the same stuff. A lot of people use the Clapton coils for more flavor. They have sextuplet coils, which if you don't know, that means 6 coils in the core. That has a higher resistance, I think 0.3 or 0.25 or something. This has a 0.15, and it's just unbelievably, it's just too much. The 0.2 resistance on the triple coils are my preference. Okay, I'm waiting to get those in the mail. And I heard that they run a little bit, they burn out a little bit quicker. You still want to use 70% VG. This says you could use 100% VG. So I think you're safe with the 70%. On the triple coils, you might be able to handle 50-50 because some of my favorite flavors are 50-50, although it'll drink a lot more juice. These drink a lot of juice. However, I found that since I run it on lower watts, then it can go from the quadruples go from 40 to 150 watts, and that's just ridiculous. So here's 70 watts. Let me do a big rip right here. See again. getting a little too warm for me. These are all about the flavor, the quadruple coils. I found that as the liquid sort of decreases, you get a little bit bigger of hits. But I don't know. Here's 75 watts. Yeah, much better. Now, you got to get yourself one of these. There are 2 nickel coil temperature controls. There's a titanium temperature control coil. There is also a stainless steel temperature control coil for those who have the brand new devices. This is a 200 watt max box mod. I do not need to use such a device. However, another device made by Smok, it's not their premier device. It has built-in batteries. It will not fire these coils even though I will run them way under the max wattage that this pumps out. For some reason, they want you to use the Smok X Cube 2, which is a great device, except you have to do some firmware updating. It's 160 watts until you upgrade it to the 180. Originally, it did not even come with temperature control. You had to purchase that for $2 separate through an app. It's not my style, but this tank surprisingly is the last tank you will ever need. Now, I don't think that it drinks through juice more than others. See, I'm using the Atlantis 2 on this by Smok. That's a long hitter. It's a 0.5 ohm coil. Alright. And it's all about taste. That's why I prefer the triple coils, because they run cooler and they produce more vapor. Definitely get yourself one of these tanks. Get the single kit, the mini if you want it to sit flush on one of your smaller devices. Not that it has to be a low wattage device, just sometimes they don't sit flush, and you could use one of these devices, these thread adapters that I use just for aesthetic purposes. You could use that to raise it up and use the full version, the full size 24 millimeter diameter, whereas the mini is a 22 millimeter diameter, which is average size, the standard for most tanks. It has a stainless steel glass, okay? It comes with 2 rubber bands, these vape bands, alright? A black one and a white one. I don't have them with me at the moment. Some people recommend putting them over the glass, but then you can't see how much juice is left. But you know, in case you drop it, it's like a little bumper rubber. It prevents it from cracking, possibly a little extra protection. Or they put it over the top swivel device. The top swiveling device, it allows you to put in some extra liquid, okay, here. You hold it with your left hand and you swivel it out, and there is a bean-shaped hole, and you do not insert the dropper into the big hole, because that is the air hole. You want to just make sure you get it right in the bean hole, and you can pretty much insert the whole dropper into the bean hole. Now, I would not overfill this, okay, because if you overfill it, it'll start looking for holes to come out. It'll start leaking a little bit. Now, overfilling would be anything above what I got here. You see, there's enough room for it to have a little breathing room, okay? Now, there is no leaking problem in general. Some people swivel device, it does not close all the way, but you see, mine clicks into place. It does not come out. I would not leave it in your pocket leaning to the side, because maybe it will drip out. I would not leave it hanging to the side, but it is not a leaker. It is just beautiful. It has 4 air holes on top of the mouthpiece and 4 gigantic air holes on the bottom. You can close them off a little bit if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend getting this. It is the last tank you will ever need. The coils are only like $1 or $2 more than most other coils, and they last a lot longer. The quadruple, this is the big boy, the quadruple coils for wattage. And you see, I'm just doing little hits at low watts, just because it gets very hot with the quadruple coils. Not recommended. So keep it low with the quadruples. Be careful. Use max VG only, unless you're using the Clapton coils or something with a lot lower resistance, something with higher ohms. But yeah, it's all about flavor. Again, these coils make dripping pretty much obsolete. And yeah, we've spent a lot of time. I wish you saw earlier me had it disassembled. I installed the new coil and showed you a little more, but I had to cut that video out. I don't have the correct software to edit things. I will. I'm getting a new computer and things will be better. But right now, I can just not recommend this more. It's Smok. Yes, Smok, not Smok. Because Smok is that thing you wear in art class when you don't want to get the paint on you. It's Smok. It's cute. They spell it without the E. It's Smoke. Don't make a joke of yourself and call it a Smok, you schmuck. Now, look into this device. I highly recommend it. It comes with all these extra washers, all the O-rings you need. That's it. And you see the barrel's still smoking. That's how hot it is. So take care. That's my little review. And keep on vaping. Quit those cigarettes. Enjoy.